My dad just called me and said that I owe $480 from my tax return because apparently if I just had $10 more taken out of my check every single week, then I wouldn't owe anything at all. And I said, what? What? I owe money for working? I owe money for working because, yeah. And also, Dad, that sounds like a scam. You are telling me that if only $10 more every week came out, then I wouldn't owe the $480? How was I supposed to know that? First of all, how am I supposed to know that? Second of all, how do I control that? And why is that a thing? How do you tell your employer, oh, take $10 more out of my paycheck every week so that I don't owe money when my tax return is done? What? This is strange. This is strange.
Something ain't right, and damn it, it's time that we find out.
At this point, paying taxes is like a rite of passage into adulthood. You truly don't understand anything about the world until you have to pay bills and pay taxes. It's funny because I got a younger sister that's in Gen Z, and she was all for raising taxes, free health care, student loan forgiveness, and as soon as she seen that money taken out her first check, that opinion started to change. Then I had to explain to her the more money you make, the more money is going to be taken out, and out of that money that's taken out, almost none of it's going to what you want it to go to. In fact, some of it's going to an entirely different country because our government's proved to be incompetent. She got a better understanding of what it means to be an American. Yeah, socialism is an easier concept to stomach when you're a kid and you're used to your parents just giving you free stuff, but as soon as you got to start working for that stuff, you understand the actual value of it. This is a real example of taxes.
You owe us taxes. How much do I owe? You get to figure that out. Can I just pay what I want? No, we know exactly how much you owe, but you have to guess the number too. But what if I guess wrong? Jail.
I can't eat! I'm broke, nigga! I'm broke!
I don't think there's anything wrong with adults living with their parents.
I don't think people understand. Right now, the average amount of money you have to make in order to live by yourself is $60,000 a year, meaning you have to get paid $30 an hour. Come here. And that is just to cover rent. That's not including furniture. That's not including other bills. That's not including car issues, right? If you were to put all that together, you'd have to make about $75,000 a year, meaning you have to get paid over $35 or $40 an hour. So if you know somebody that is making you feel bad because you live at home with their parents, unless they are making $40 an hour at their job, they're definitely lying to you about their living situation. They either live in a closet or they have 4 roommates. There's nothing wrong with staying with your parents right now because at this moment in time, the new generation, they can't save any money. The only thing going up is the cost of things, not the actual payment towards their lives.
That's not ridiculous. That's not ridiculous to say that.
Yeah, I don't care what nobody say. If you blessed to have parents that love you, there's absolutely nothing wrong with staying home until you're ready to leave. I've seen people leave home prematurely for multiple reasons. Sometimes it's because of dysfunction, but usually it's just because they don't want to live under their parents' rules. And to be honest, what usually happens is they go and get an apartment, and since they got to pay the rent for the apartment, they go and get a low-wage job because they don't have any job experience because they rush themselves out of the house, and they end up spending more time at the job than they do enjoying the freedom away from their parents. And then it just becomes a cycle because those low-wage jobs are only going to pay you so much. So if you got parents, that's a huge advantage. Stay home until you're ready. I have a buddy that's 27 years old. He owns an entire moving company, but he still lives with his parents. By the time he leaves, he's going to be able to put a 50% down payment on whatever house he wants.
Tell them to bring me my money.
What's going on here at the migrant crisis? What do people think about the migrants here inside Chicago?
On some real shit, I think they need to go on back where they at, Joe. We ain't got enough room for them right now.
Let's be nice. We don't have to go there. I mean, you're not wrong, but you didn't have to say it.
And where should they go?
Shit, somewhere where's room for them at. Even if it's back to where they at or another little city. But Chicago too packed, man. We already got a lot going on.
What do you think about them giving them free hotels, free phones?
That's what I'm saying. They treating them better than real residents. Like, they giving them shit that they ain't give us. And we born and raised in Chicago. They come here giving them $15,000 in their name, a GN link, all type of shit. I'm damn. But you got homeless people sleeping on the street. You know, they up, but y'all bringing people in, treating them better than motherfuckers who from Chicago. I don't like that though.
What's your direct message to Mayor Johnson then?
Man, fix this Get this shit together, bro. Help the city. Don't just be all talk. You talk that talk to get in there, live it. Stand on business.
Yeah, allowing immigrants to come in and then giving them more benefits than Americans that have been paying taxes their entire lives is just crazy to me. I'm not sure what the game plan is. I'm not sure if it's for cheap labor. I'm not sure if it's to stabilize the population because we're at a declining birth rate. I was actually talking to my wife about this recently, and this might sound a little bit pessimistic, but this is kind of what I'm starting to think. Maybe they're bringing in immigrants to help with production when it comes to manufacturing bullets or whatever we might need for World War III, or maybe it's just so they can be soldiers in World War III. But either way, if you're the average American, you should be upset because Americans can hardly afford to eat, and we're giving our tax dollars to people that aren't even from here.
It's not going, you know what I'm saying? It ain't going, nah, it ain't going to work.
I literally just did my taxes and I owe money. I call my dad, I'm like, did I do this right? He's like, I don't know, maybe you should pay someone to do your taxes for you. I said, does it sound like I'm in the position to be paying someone else to do my taxes when I already owe the government money? Oh my God. What is this scheme? God, are you there? It is me, Sarah. I hate being an adult.
You can't take responsibility. The future is just not there.
Yeah, I don't know. I keep thinking about the worst case scenario.
What, bankruptcy?
Yeah.
That'd be really tough to go through at 25, but...
Especially with my car, too. I think that's what's kind of stopping me from going that route, because...
You have $152,000, $27,000. Oh, $152,027 in bad debt. That is a number that just shouldn't even be considered as a number for someone in your age. That's like you having a mortgage or something.
Yeah, $125,000 of debt at the age of 25, you might as well go ahead and file for bankruptcy. At least she's single with no kids. It's probably the best time to do it. Two of my buddies live together in their early 20s. And when I say buddies, I mean guys that I've known since I was 14 years old. There's only 4 of these people on the planet. I don't use the word friend as just a word to say. But anyway, my 2 buddies were living together. And I remember this because every time I would come back home from college, they would have a new gadget. They were buying like electric skateboards. They were buying motorcycles. They were buying cars. Pretty much a bunch of egregious shit that they didn't even really need. And it got to the point where they were working 40 hours a week and could hardly afford to eat because all the money they were dishing out was because the interest rates were high and they were just trying to pay back these people so that they wouldn't get their stuff repossessed. Eventually, some of their stuff got repossessed, and I remember they had a moment of clarity where they realized the only reason we feel like we're slaves and the only reason we're in such a scarcity mindset all the time is because we've made so much debt. We've built up so much debt from buying shit that we don't even need. So they started working 60 hours a week. And at this time, we're in our early 20s. So these jobs are not good jobs. They're just putting in just grind hours, just grunting it out. 60 hours a week, paying off debt for about a year and a half straight. Eventually, they got to the point where they didn't have any debt anymore. Fast forward to today, they're completely out and they don't want to go back into debt. They saved their money. They both make about $100,000 a year. One of my buddies just called me a couple days ago and said he makes he just got a $20,000 raise on his salary, and the other buddy owns a pharmacy, is a partial owner in a pharmacy in Kenya. So they're both doing pretty well. And it's because once they got out of that scarcity mindset, because they actually got to keep the money that they were making because they weren't buying shit they don't need, it gave a lot of clarity, and they could actually make decisions with a rational mind instead of just living in a scarcity mindset their entire lives. Basically, what I'm trying to say is I don't know if the economy is ever going to get any better, but the best thing you can do from my experience is to live way below your means and never go into debt, especially for something you don't need.
And that's a fact.